Have you ever noticed that sinking feeling when someone you care about starts to pull away? As if the connection that once felt unbreakable is now slipping away, like water slipping through your fingers, or like watching a fire that once burned bright slowly turn to embers, flickering on the verge of going out, no matter how desperately you try to hold on. What if, in that moment of despair, you could reverse it, reignite that flame, and make them realize just how much they need you? What if you could stand tall, unshaken by their distance, and draw them back with a force they can't resist? Imagine the power of not chasing, not pleading, but instead becoming the person they can't stop thinking about, the one they can't bear to lose. Today, we're diving into the Stoic strategies that will help you do just that. This isn't about playing games or manipulating emotions. It's about embracing your own strength, stepping back with confidence, and letting them feel the weight of your absence. As our wise friend Marcus Aurelius once reflected, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. By changing your mindset, you can change the entire dynamic of your relationship. Picture this. Instead of letting their distance create doubt, you use it as an opportunity to reinforce your self-worth, to grow stronger, and to become even more magnetic. This is your moment to turn the tide, to show them that you're not just someone to take for granted. You're someone they need, someone they'll regret losing. But before we dive into these powerful strategies, I want to challenge you to take the first step right now. If you're ready to embrace your inner strength and turn this situation around, drop a comment below with the phrase, "I will bring them back." This isn't just a statement. It's a declaration that you're reclaiming your power and stepping into your true self. Let's see how many of you are ready to rise to this challenge and become the Stoic force they can't ignore. Ready, Stoic friends? Let's go. Before we dive into those 10 powerful actions that will reignite the fire in their heart, I need to set something straight. This part is crucial, folks, so I want you to stay focused. Please don't skip this. When we talk about bringing someone back, this is where things can get tricky, because let's be honest, this doesn't exactly align with pure Stoic philosophy. But before you lose hope, let me assure you, that doesn't mean we won't achieve our goal. It just means we need to approach this with the right mindset, the Stoic mindset. Now, let me define what Stoicism truly represents in this situation. Stoicism isn't about manipulating someone to return or forcing an outcome. It's about self-mastery, about controlling what's within your power and letting go of what isn't. It's about focusing on your own growth, your own resilience, and becoming the best version of yourself. But here's the key. When you genuinely let go of the need to control their actions and instead focus on becoming the person you were meant to be, something remarkable happens. They will feel that shift. They will sense the change in you, the strength, the calmness, and it will draw them back naturally, without any need for games or manipulation. So, if Stoicism tells us to focus on our own journey, to cultivate inner peace, and to remain indifferent to things beyond our control, how does that help us bring them back? How do we reconcile this with our goal? Well, Stoic friends, this is where I want you to pay close attention. When you embody these principles, truly embracing your own growth and inner strength, they will inevitably notice. The change in you will be undeniable, and it's that shift, that newfound resilience, that will naturally draw them back to you. So, now that we've got the foundation clear, let's move forward with confidence. The steps we're about to discuss are not about chasing after them. They're about becoming so powerful in your own right that they can't help but be drawn back to you. Let's dive into the first thing that will start this transformation and set you on the path to bringing them back, not by force, but by becoming someone they can't resist. Number 1, become unpredictable. So folks, let's dive into the first principle, become unpredictable. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why is unpredictability so important when someone's pulling away? Shouldn't you be showing them consistency and stability to bring them back? Here's the thing. When you become too predictable, you also become too easy to read. And when someone can predict your every move, they begin to take you for granted. The allure, the mystery, the excitement, they all start to fade away. That's why becoming unpredictable isn't just a tactic, it's a game changer. Unpredictability doesn't mean you start acting erratically or playing mind games. Let's be clear about that. It's about keeping them on their toes, ensuring that they don't feel like they have you all figured out. When they can't predict your next move, you become intriguing, someone they can't easily dismiss or take for granted. And let me tell you folks, there's something incredibly powerful about being a little bit of a mystery. Imagine this, you're in a relationship and things have gotten a bit stale. You've fallen into a routine where they know exactly what to expect from you, when you'll text, how you'll respond, what you'll say. It's comfortable, but comfort isn't always a good thing in relationships. It can lead to complacency, where they start to assume you'll always be there, doing the same things, reacting the same way. But what if instead you shook things up a bit? What if you stopped being so predictable? Let's say you're usually the one who initiates conversations or plans. You're always the first to check in, the first to make sure everything's okay. Now, I'm not saying you should stop caring, but what if for once you didn't send that morning text? What if you didn't immediately reply when they finally decide to reach out? It's not about playing hard to get. It's about showing that you have a life of your own, that you're not just waiting around for them to notice you. When you become unpredictable, you're essentially telling them, "You don't have me all figured out." And that, my friends, is incredibly intriguing. It makes them wonder what's going on with you, why you're not reacting the way you usually do. Suddenly, you're not just the steady presence they've come to expect. You're someone with layers, someone who's not as easy to pin down. And let's be honest, a little bit of mystery goes a long way. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." This means that when you change your behavior, your thoughts and your approach, you change how others perceive you. By becoming unpredictable, you're shifting the way they see you. You're no longer just a constant in their life. You're someone who's dynamic, someone who keeps them guessing, and that's incredibly attractive. Now you might be thinking, but won't this push them away even more? If they're already pulling back, won't this just make things worse? Actually, it does the opposite. When they start to notice that you're not reacting the way they expect, it forces them to pay attention. It sparks curiosity, which is the first step in drawing them back in. They start to wonder what's changed, why you're not the same predictable person they thought they knew. And in that wondering, they begin to realize that maybe they've underestimated you. Think about it. When someone becomes predictable, they become safe. And while safety is important, it doesn't always ignite passion or desire. Unpredictability, on the other hand, keeps things fresh. It brings an element of surprise that can reignite interest and make them want to know more about what's going on in your head. It's the unpredictability that makes you memorable, that makes you stand out from the crowd. Let's bring some humor into it. Picture this. They're used to you always being available for a call at 7 p.m. sharp. But this time, when they dial in, you're out with friends, having a great time, and you just send a quick, "Can't talk, catch up later. Suddenly, they're the ones left waiting, wondering what's so interesting that you couldn't talk. It's a small change, but it's enough to make them rethink the dynamic. You're no longer just there, waiting. You've got your own thing going on. And here's why this is so effective. Unpredictability isn't about mind games. It's about showing them that you're a person with depth, with a life that doesn't revolve around them. It makes them realize that they can't take you for granted because they don't know what you're going to do next. And that's intriguing. It pulls them back in because they want to figure you out. They want to know what's going on, and they don't want to be left out of the loop. So, folks, if you're ready to add a little mystery to your life and make them see you in a whole new light, drop a comment below with the phrase, "I will bring them back." This is your commitment to becoming the kind of person they can't ignore. Someone who's intriguing, dynamic, and absolutely unforgettable. Let's show them that you're not just anyone. You're someone worth chasing. So, folks, if you have any questions, throw them out in the comments. You might have a different perspective, and I'd love to discuss it further with you there. And if everything is crystal clear, go ahead and like this video, and don't forget to subscribe. Now, I know things might seem a bit risky here. When someone is pulling away, you have to take that risk, because let's be honest, you're already on the edge. So why not fix it once and for all? That's why it's crucial to stick around until the end. The next steps I'm going to share with you are the ones that will truly change the game. Becoming unpredictable is really powerful, but it won't ignite the fire on its own. You need to embrace all 10 of these habits to really save your relationship. So sit tight and let's dive into the full package. Because when you commit to these principles, you're not just trying to bring them back. You're setting the stage for a stronger, more resilient relationship. Number 2, always stand for yourself. Now, let's be real. If someone is pulling away, the absolute worst thing you can do is start bending over backward and allow them to use you as trash. It's like willingly becoming the puppet they've always desired, letting them pull the strings while you dance to their tune. That's not Stoicism, and it's certainly not attractive. But why is standing for yourself so crucial in this situation? Why does it make such a difference when someone starts to pull away? Let me break it down for you. When you stand up for yourself, you're sending a clear message. I'm not here to be used, manipulated, or taken for granted. It's about showing that you value yourself enough not to tolerate being treated as an afterthought. This is where real power lies. When you demonstrate that you won't compromise your dignity just to keep someone around, you're flipping the script. Now, I know what you're thinking, but they're already pulling away and you're telling me to stand up for myself. Is this the right time? Won't this just make them pull away even more? My Stoic friends, this is something you need to understand. If you allow them to make you their personal puppet at this point, believe me, there's no end to it. It will only spiral downward, leading to an inevitable, painful end where you're left feeling drained and disrespected. But what if you flip the script here? What if, instead of bending to their every whim, you stood firm, confident in your own worth? When you choose to stand up for yourself, even as they pull away, you're doing something incredibly powerful. You're breaking the cycle of desperation and dependency that often leads to even more distance. By refusing to let them control the narrative, you shift the dynamic entirely. They might expect you to chase after them, to lower your standards just to keep them in your life. But when you don't, when you stand tall and refuse to be treated as anything less than you deserve, it catches them off guard. It forces them to reassess the situation, to see you in a new light. Imagine the power in that moment when they realize they can't manipulate you. They can't pull the strings and make you dance to their tune. Instead, they see that you're someone who knows their value, someone who won't settle for being treated poorly. This is where the real shift happens. Instead of pushing them away, standing up for yourself can actually draw them back in, because they realize that losing you isn't something they can afford to risk. Yes, it might feel risky. It might seem like you're pushing them further away by not caving to their demands or chasing after them. But let me tell you, the alternative, becoming a puppet at their mercy, will only lead to greater distance and, eventually, the end of the relationship. By flipping the script, you're giving them a reason to stop and reconsider, to realize that losing you isn't something they can take lightly. In the end, standing up for yourself isn't just about saving your dignity. It's about reclaiming your power and showing them that you're not someone who can be easily dismissed. It's about making them understand that you're worth fighting for, and that if they want to be in your life, they'll have to earn it. And according to Stoicism, the one who stands for themselves naturally becomes more attractive. Why? Because true attractiveness isn't about superficial charm or trying to win someone over. It's about embodying strength, integrity, and self-respect. When you stand up for yourself, you're not just defending your dignity, you're exuding a quiet confidence that others can't help but notice. It's this inner strength, this unwavering sense of self-worth that makes you magnetic. People are drawn to those who know their value and refuse to settle for anything less. It's a powerful force that can shift the dynamics of any relationship, making you the one they can't afford to lose. So folks, if you're ready to stand tall and reclaim your power, it is time to affirm once again, I will bring them back. This is your declaration, your commitment to embodying the strength that will naturally draw them back into your orbit. Let's show them that you're not just anyone, you're someone worth standing for. Number 3, don't be desperate. Let's talk about the third principle, don't be desperate. Now, this one is crucial, folks, especially when you're feeling like things are slipping through your fingers. It's natural to feel a sense of panic when someone you care about starts to pull away. But desperation is the absolute last thing you want to show. Desperation is like a repellent. It pushes people away rather than drawing them in. When you're desperate, you're essentially telling the other person that your worth is dependent on their presence in your life. You're signaling that you need them more than they need you, and that imbalance creates a dynamic where they feel like they're in control. And let's be honest, nobody finds desperation attractive. It comes off as needy, clingy, and ultimately, it shows a lack of self-respect. Think about it. Have you ever been in a situation where someone was overly desperate for your attention? Maybe they were constantly texting, calling, or trying too hard to get you to notice them. How did it make you feel? Chances are, it made you feel overwhelmed and possibly even annoyed. The same goes for the person you're trying to win back. If you're constantly bombarding them with attention, trying to prove your worth, or pleading for them to stay, it's going to have the opposite effect. Instead, take a step back and breathe. Desperation is often driven by fear, the fear of losing them, the fear of being alone, or the fear of not being good enough. But here's the thing, when you let fear dictate your actions, you lose your power. You become reactive instead of proactive, and that's a surefire way to push them further away. So, what should you do instead? Show them that you're confident in your own value. Don't chase after them or try to force things to work. Instead, focus on yourself and your own growth. When you stop acting out of desperation and start acting out of self-respect, something powerful happens. You start to regain control of the situation, and more importantly, you regain control of your own emotions. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is exactly what you need to remember when you're tempted to act out of desperation. You can't control how the other person feels or what they do, but you can control how you respond. By choosing to remain calm, collected and confident, you're showing them that you're not dependent on their validation for your happiness. And that, my friends, is incredibly attractive. Imagine this. Instead of bombarding them with messages or trying to convince them to stay, you simply let them be. You focus on living your life, pursuing your passions, and being the best version of yourself. You're not ignoring them, but you're not chasing them either. This approach creates a sense of mystery and intrigue. They start to wonder why you're not acting the way they expected, why you're not desperate to keep them. And in that wondering, they might just start to realize your worth. So, if you find yourself on the edge, feeling like you're about to lose them, remember this principle. Don't be desperate. Stand firm in your own value, and trust that if it's meant to be, it will be. Desperation only weakens your position, but confidence, self-respect, and patience, those are the qualities that will draw them back in and make them see you in a whole new light. Number 4, look and smell good. Let's talk about the next principle. Look and smell good. Now, I know this might sound superficial at first glance, but let's not underestimate the power of physical appearance and presence. How you look, and yes, how you smell, play a significant role in how others perceive you, especially when you're trying to rekindle a connection that's fading. It's not just about vanity. It's about sending a message that you take care of yourself, that you value yourself enough to present the best version of you to the world. When someone is pulling away, the way you present yourself can make all the difference. Think about it. When you look good, you feel good. And when you feel good, that confidence radiates outwards. Confidence is magnetic and it draws people in. It's about showing them that you're not falling apart just because they're distancing themselves. Instead, you're thriving, looking better than ever, and making them wonder why they ever started pulling away in the first place. Imagine running into them after they've been distant. They're expecting to see the same old you, maybe even someone who looks a little worn down by the situation. But instead, they're met with someone who's glowing, someone who's clearly been taking care of themselves. You're dressed sharply, your hair is on point, and that new fragrance you're wearing, it's impossible to ignore. Suddenly, they're not just looking at you, they're noticing you. They're reminded of what they're missing out on. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." When you take the time to look and smell good, you're not just enhancing your external appearance, you're cultivating a mindset of self-respect and self-care. You're telling yourself and everyone around you that you're worth the effort, and that mindset is incredibly attractive. Let's face it, we're all drawn to people who take care of themselves. It's a sign of self-respect, of pride in who you are. When you invest time in your appearance, it shows that you're not just trying to impress others, you're living in a way that honors yourself. And that's something people can't help but notice. Now, I'm not saying you need to be dressed to the nines every single day, or that you need to douse yourself in cologne. It's about the small things, making sure you're well-groomed, picking out outfits that make you feel confident, and wearing a fragrance that leaves a subtle yet memorable impression. These details might seem minor, but they add up to create a powerful impact. And here's a bit of humor for you. If you've ever caught a whiff of a bad smell, you know how quickly it can make you want to run in the opposite direction. On the flip side, a good fragrance can draw someone in, almost like a magnet. So why not give yourself that little edge? Smelling good isn't just pleasant. It's a tool of attraction. In the end, looking and smelling good isn't about trying to be someone you're not. It's about enhancing who you already are and showing that you're someone who values themselves. It's about making sure that when they see you, they see someone who's thriving, someone who's confident and comfortable in their own skin. And trust me, that's hard to resist. So, if you're ready to step up your game and make them take notice, start with the basics. Look good, smell good, and feel even better. It's a small but powerful way to remind them of what they're missing, and to remind yourself that you're worth every bit of the effort. Number 5, be ambitious. So folks, let's jump into the 5th principle. Be ambitious. Now, you might be wondering, how does ambition tie into saving a relationship? Isn't ambition more about personal goals, career, or success? Well, here's the thing. Ambition is about much more than just professional achievements. It's about having a drive, a vision for your life that goes beyond the ordinary. And trust me, ambition is incredibly attractive. It's one of those qualities that can truly pull someone back when they're starting to drift away. When someone sees that you're ambitious, it sends a clear message. You're not just coasting through life. You have goals, dreams, and the determination to achieve them. This kind of energy is contagious and magnetic. It shows that you're a person of substance, someone who's constantly striving to improve, to grow, and to make something meaningful out of life. And let's be honest, who wouldn't be drawn to that? Imagine this. You're in a relationship, and things have started to feel a bit stagnant. Maybe they're pulling away, not because they don't care, but because they've lost that sense of excitement or admiration for you. But then they see you taking charge of your life, pursuing your passions, setting goals, and making strides toward them. Suddenly, you're not just the person they've grown comfortable with. You're someone who's on a path to greatness, someone who's not content with mediocrity. This sparks something in them, a sense of respect, admiration, and even a little bit of that initial attraction that drew them to you in the first place. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one." This applies directly to ambition. Instead of talking about what you want to do or who you want to be, show them through your actions. Let your ambition be the proof that you're not just dreaming, you're doing. This doesn't mean you have to be out there conquering the world in a day, but it does mean that you're actively working towards something meaningful. And here's where it gets even better. Ambition isn't just attractive, it's inspiring. When they see you pushing yourself, striving for more, it might just reignite something within them too. It can motivate them to look at their own life and think about what they want to achieve. In a way, your ambition can be the catalyst for their own growth, which can bring you closer together. Now, some might worry that ambition can create distance, that focusing on your own goals could pull you away from your partner. But the reality is, when done right, ambition can actually strengthen a relationship. It shows that you're not dependent on them for your happiness or fulfillment. You're creating it yourself. And that kind of independence, paired with the drive to achieve your dreams, is what makes you irresistible. So, how does being ambitious help in bringing them back? It shifts the focus. Instead of them seeing you as someone who's trying to hold on too tightly, they see you as someone who's driven, passionate, and living a life with purpose. It changes the narrative from "I need you" to "I'm building something great and I want you to be a part of it." That's a powerful shift that can turn the tide in your favor. So folks, if you're ready to embrace your ambition and show them what you're truly capable of, drop a comment below with the phrase, "I will bring them back." Let's show them that you're not just waiting around, you're moving forward, and they'd be wise to come along for the ride. Number 6. Communicate with purpose. So folks, let's talk about the 6th principle. Communicate with purpose. Now, when someone is pulling away, communication can feel like walking on a tightrope. You want to reach out, but you don't want to seem desperate. You want to express how you feel, but you don't want to push them further away. This is where purposeful communication comes into play. It's about making every word count and ensuring that what you say actually strengthens the connection rather than weakens it. When you communicate with purpose, you're not just talking for the sake of talking. You're speaking with intention, clarity, and confidence. It's about choosing your words carefully, expressing what truly matters, and avoiding the traps of over-explaining, begging, or trying to justify yourself. Purposeful communication is about getting to the heart of the matter, saying what needs to be said without all the unnecessary fluff that can dilute your message or make you seem unsure. Imagine this. Your partner has been distant, and you're tempted to send a long, emotional text pouring out your feelings. But instead of flooding them with everything you're thinking and feeling, you take a step back. You ask yourself, what do I really want to convey here? What's the most important thing I need them to understand? Then you send a concise, clear message that gets straight to the point. Something like, "I've noticed you've been distant lately. I care about you and want to understand what's going on. When you're ready to talk, I'm here." This shows that you're aware, you're concerned, but you're also respectful of their space. Purposeful communication also means knowing when to speak and when to listen. It's about not filling the silence with nervous chatter, but instead allowing them the space to respond, to share their side, and to be heard. This balance is crucial because it shows that you're not just focused on getting your point across, you're genuinely interested in what they have to say as well. And let's not forget the power of non-verbal communication. Your tone, body language, and even the timing of your messages all play a role in how your communication is received. When you're calm, composed, and intentional in your approach, it sends a powerful message that you're not desperate, you're confident and in control. So folks, if you want to bridge the gap and draw them back in, communicate with purpose. Make every word count and let your actions match your words. When you do this, you'll find that your messages hit harder, resonate deeper, and ultimately help to rebuild the connection. Number 7. Be less available. Let's dive into the 7th principle. Be less available. Now, this one might seem counterintuitive at first. You're trying to bring someone back, so shouldn't you be more available, not less? But here's the reality. When you're always available, you become too easy, too predictable, and sometimes too easy to take for granted. Being less available isn't about playing hard to get. It's about reclaiming your time, your energy, and your sense of self-worth. When someone starts to pull away, the natural response is often to try harder, to be there for them at every moment, to prove your value. But this approach can backfire. It can make you appear desperate, and desperation is never attractive. Instead, by being less available, you're subtly shifting the dynamic. You're showing them that you have your own life, your own priorities, and that you're not just sitting around waiting for their attention. Imagine this scenario. You're usually quick to respond to their texts, always ready to drop everything to meet up when they call. But now, instead of jumping at every opportunity to connect, you take your time. You don't rush to answer their messages. You don't immediately clear your schedule to accommodate them. You still engage, but on your terms, when it's convenient for you. This creates a sense of intrigue and makes them realize that your time is valuable. When you're less available, it forces them to reconsider their own behavior. They begin to notice that you're not always there at their beck and call. This can stir up feelings of curiosity, even a bit of insecurity on their part. They might start to wonder what you're up to, why you're not as readily available as you used to be, and whether they've taken you for granted. It's a subtle way of making them appreciate your presence more because it's no longer guaranteed. But here's the key. Being less available doesn't mean ignoring them or playing games. It's about balancing your availability with your own needs and priorities. It's about making sure that when you do engage, it's because you genuinely want to, not because you feel like you have to. This not only preserves your dignity, but also makes you more attractive, as you're seen as someone with a full, rich life, someone who isn't dependent on their every move. So, folks, if you want to shift the power dynamic and make them realize your worth, start being a little less available. Value your time, focus on your own life, and watch how they start to value you more. Number 8. Smile often. Let's talk about the 8th principle. Smile often. Now, you might be wondering, how can something as simple as smiling make a difference when someone's pulling away? But let me tell you, a smile is far more powerful than it seems. It's not just about looking happy or approachable. It's about radiating confidence, positivity, and resilience, even when things feel uncertain. When you smile, you're sending a message that you're in control of your emotions, that you're not letting the situation get the best of you. It shows that you're confident in who you are, and that you're not going to let someone else's actions dictate your happiness. This kind of positivity is magnetic. It draws people in because, let's face it, everyone is naturally attracted to someone who exudes warmth and optimism. Imagine this. You're going through a rough patch with someone, and they're pulling away. Instead of letting that stress and worry show on your face, you choose to smile. You greet them with genuine warmth, you keep your demeanor light, and you don't let their distance bring you down. This doesn't mean you're ignoring the issues, but it shows that you're not letting them control your emotional state. It sends a powerful message that you're strong, resilient, and capable of maintaining your joy even when things are tough. Smiling often also has a way of breaking down barriers. It's hard for someone to stay distant or disconnected when they're met with a smile. It disarms them, makes them feel more at ease, and can soften the tension that might have built up. A smile can be the first step towards mending a fractured connection, because it opens the door to more positive interactions and reminds them of the warmth and kindness they were initially drawn to. And let's not forget the impact that smiling has on you. When you smile, even if you don't feel like it, you're actually triggering a positive response in your own brain. It reduces stress, lifts your mood, and can give you the confidence boost you need to navigate through the challenges you're facing. So, folks, if you want to draw them back in, start by smiling often. Let your smile be a reminder that you're strong, that you're capable of joy even in difficult times, and that you're not going to let anything or anyone take away your inner peace. It's a small but powerful gesture that can change the whole dynamic of your interactions and bring them closer to you in ways you might not expect. Number 9. Self-assurance. Let's dive into the 9th principle, self-assurance. Now, when someone is pulling away, it's easy to let doubt creep in, to question your worth or wonder if you're doing something wrong. But self-assurance is about standing firm in who you are, regardless of the situation. It's about knowing your value and not letting anyone else's actions shake that confidence. Self-assurance doesn't mean you're arrogant or dismissive. It means you're secure in your own skin. When you're self-assured, you project a calm confidence that others can't help but notice. It shows that you're not desperate for approval, and you're not seeking validation from them or anyone else. This kind of confidence is incredibly attractive because it signals that you're comfortable with yourself. You know what you bring to the table, and you're not afraid to stand alone if necessary. Imagine this. Your partner starts pulling away, and instead of panicking or trying to win them back with grand gestures, you remain steady. You don't let their actions dictate your self-worth. You continue to live your life with purpose, maintaining your routines, pursuing your passions, and staying true to who you are. This sends a powerful message that you're not dependent on their attention to feel good about yourself. You're strong, independent, and fully capable of thriving on your own. And here's the kicker. Self-assurance often has a magnetic effect. When they see that you're not shaken by their distance, that you're still confident and composed, it makes them reconsider. They start to realize that you're someone who knows their worth, and that kind of self-assuredness is hard to resist. So folks, if you want to draw them back in, embrace your self-assurance. Stand firm in your value and let that inner confidence shine through. When you do, you'll not only feel better about yourself, but you'll also become someone they won't want to lose. Number 10, be ready to let go. Now, let's dive into the 10th and final principle. Be ready to let go. This one might sound counterintuitive, especially when we're talking about bringing someone back. But here's the truth, folks. Sometimes the most powerful move you can make is to be willing to let go. This doesn't mean you're giving up or that you don't care. It means you understand your worth and won't hold on to someone who isn't willing to meet you halfway. Being ready to let go is about recognizing that you can't control someone else's actions or feelings. It's about understanding that, no matter how much you care, you can't force someone to stay or to love you the way you deserve. This principle is rooted in Stoic wisdom, which teaches us to focus on what we can control, our own actions, our own responses, and our own mindset, while letting go of the rest. Imagine you're in a situation where you've tried everything. You've stood up for yourself, communicated with purpose, and even embraced unpredictability. But still, they continue to pull away. At this point, clinging to them, trying to hold on to something that's slipping away, only drains your energy and diminishes your self-worth. Instead, you take a deep breath and you make peace with the possibility that it might be time to let go. Letting go isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. It shows that you're secure enough in yourself to walk away from a situation that's not serving you. It's about saying, I love myself enough to let go of anything that doesn't love me back. When you're ready to let go, you're telling them that your happiness doesn't depend on their presence, and that's a powerful message. Here's the thing, when you truly let go, something interesting often happens. It's like releasing your grip on a rope that's been pulling you down. Suddenly, you feel lighter, more at peace, and more in control of your own destiny. And sometimes, letting go is exactly what's needed to make them realize what they're about to lose. When they see that you're not afraid to walk away, that you're not clinging out of fear or desperation, it can be a wake-up call. They may begin to see your value in a new light, understanding that you're not someone who will settle for less than you deserve. But even if they don't come back, Being ready to let go means you're ready to embrace whatever comes next. It means you trust in yourself and in the path ahead, knowing that you'll be okay no matter what. You're choosing your own peace, your own happiness, over the uncertainty of holding on to someone who isn't fully invested. So, folks, being ready to let go is about reclaiming your power. It's about knowing that your worth isn't tied to anyone else's decisions or actions. And in that readiness, you find true freedom. Freedom from the fear of loss, and freedom to live your life on your terms. If you've reached this point and you're ready to stand strong, to embrace your future with or without them, drop a comment below with the phrase, "I will bring them back." Because sometimes letting go is the very thing that brings them back. And if not, it opens the door to something even better. Thanks for tuning in, folks. If you found value in this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and share it with someone who could benefit from these insights. And hey, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below with, "I will bring them back," and let's keep the conversation going. Your engagement helps us grow and continue bringing you powerful content. Remember, these 10 principles aren't just about bringing someone back. They're about reclaiming your power, your confidence, and your self-worth. So take these lessons to heart, apply them in your life, and watch how the dynamics shift in your favor. Stay strong, stay stoic, and I'll see you in the next video.